the associated BrahMos. Founder of BrahMos, and I think that is one project because, if I ask where does the word BrahMos come for this missile, I think not many would be able to complement that. Can anyone say where does the word BrahMos for the missile come from? Just one. Go ahead. Amazing. Look at this girl here. She deserves an effort. Everyone was quiet. This project is Brahmaputra, the Indian, and Moscow River. Amazing. What's your name? She knows it. And I think not many people would know that this word comes from there. Dr. Pillai and all the distinguished guests, I believe we have 510 delegates from 107 companies. Well, this is not my forte. I really do not know how to start and talk about it. But I believe whatever we talk about today, as far as any developing nation is concerned, any aspect of life is management. And it could be a project management. We can have different words for it, but it's certainly a management exercise that we all have in our life. And this basically what we understand relates to events and further planning, logistics, HR, you keep on going. When you talk about the ecosystems, we talk about safety, you talk about quality, you talk about resources, you talk about human resources. So it's a field which possibly the matrix is so vast that for anyone to individually assess that A is a definition of project management, it would be a very, very, very difficult case to explain. Especially in a world where you have so much of inputs to handle your projects, whether it's IT, whether it's skill, whether it's all the factors associated with it. I think it's an aspect which has, dimensions are so broad and wide that possibly to put a firm definition to project management would be not an easy task. With all the scientific approaches, with all the inventions, with all the, and then you have all these words like when you go for a project you call due diligence and so forth and so on. So all these are the buzzwords for the system when you talk about project management. But for a person like me, when he has to discuss and talk about project management, I would just recall, in government what do you do when you talk about projects and when you talk about policies? What do you do? I don't think many of us would recall, but if I have to recall what I did as a policy level for projects, I would recall my days as a civil aviation minister. Not many of you would recall. But I had a tenure for 1 year. And in that tenure for 1 year, I took 60 odd decisions for implementation of certain policies and projects. And out of that 60, 50 would be of very small nature, which I will not refer, but at least 10 which I know created a revolution of air travel in this country. And most of us would not recall that whether it was the Delhi airport or the Mumbai airport, which was a brownfield airport, was modernized in the Indian regime when Atal Bihari Vajpayee. We amended the Airport Authority Act to see that a new project comes in, though it took a while to get created and was inaugurated by the subsequent government, which took the credit of creating that airport. Or whether it was Shamshabad in Bangalore or Devanali in Bangalore or Shamshabad in Hyderabad, those two greenfield projects were the brainchild of the NDA government. And we did the SOP for that to create that. And what you see today, and unfortunately after that, and all these smaller metro airports which you see in this country, which are small and swanky today, this 36 non-metro was planned in the year 2003, where we had decided to move from projects which were water and brick, we moved from steel and glass. And because that was the idea, because I still remember when I had a basic challenge to convince the airport authority to say that we are not going on brick and water anymore. It has to be steel and glass. And it was very difficult. Even the software which was required to make the drawings then for airports, which costed about 1 crore, which airport authority was absolutely reluctant to buy. But think about it. And if I have to see the policy decision in the aviation sector, the launch of the low-cost airlines, when Captain Gopinath walked up in my room and said that I want to set up a low-cost airlines. And when he talked about paperless tickets, when he talked about e-tickets then the secretaries in Government of India, when we had a meeting, they would look at him and think that, what is he talking? And the entire club of the full cost carriers came together. They worked very hard to see that this low cost airlines does not come into existence. But actually it had to happen at that point of time. And it did happen. And the biggest revolution when we talk about the low cost airlines started there. But at the same time, yesterday when I was flying in a Jet Airways flight, and someone walked up to me and said, "Sir, but you started this, I remember, but the cost of tickets are exorbitant." I couldn't answer him. He said he wanted to have an answer for me. And then I wanted to tell him, I could explain it to him, where the project management fails. It's a demand and supply game. And the demand is higher, the supply has come down, but some of the airlines are shutting one after the other, SpiceJet almost at the brink of shutting down. May not be, I do not know, but they say it's in a stress. When you talk about Kingfisher, when the demand and supply issue comes up, it's a question of making money out of that. And when the demand is more and supply is less, you make more money. So how do you create a supply chain in the system where you facilitate all these airlines to have more planes so that there is more supply, there is more airports, there is more staff. So it's a chain which one has to understand at a policy level, and that is also a management. When we decided to reduce the excise duty on ATF, then when Mr. Jaswant Singh was the finance minister, and I walked up to him and said, I want this concession to come from 16% to 8%, and he did decide to bring it down. And even small things, I don't know, most of you would not know, that after the 9/11 incident in New York, all the airlines across the world have decided to stop, and especially in India, that you cannot use mobile phones inside the aircraft once you step in. So I argued with the Director General of Civil Aviation. I said, if you are a passenger in the 747 and you are the first passenger, it takes almost 50 minutes for the first passenger and the last passenger to get in. So do you expect a person who's sitting in the aircraft not to use his mobile phone? So then it was an argument, and I wrote on the file till the doors are closed. And then they made a policy till the doors are closed so that you can use your mobile phone till the doors are closed, and after that you can't. And then after that, for 7 years, I ceased to be a civil aviation minister. For 7 years in consultative committee, because I have lost that authority to make a decision. And I do not know whether anyone has flown with me when I have been a captain on Indigo Airlines. Has anyone been there yet? No one. Anyway, and I took me 7 years as a part of the consultative committee team to tell them that you can use your mobile phones when you move out of the active runway. So I asked the successive minister, Praful Patel, so now when you hear that you can use your mobile phones once you hit the rapid exit track, it is also my effort, even outside the government. Everything is a project. When I had to go and meet the tourist association, I don't know that body, World Tourism, something. They wanted the charter policy in this country had to be revised. We used to get in 2001, 2002 about 30 or 40 charters in this country. Today that we did revise, Mr. K. Rai Paul was the Secretary of Civil Aviation, we did revise the whole thing, and today you have more than 2,000 charters coming to this country. So every decision at the government level may not be a project management, but it's a policy management. And when policy management and project management come together, then you have that growth, which you talk about the GDP, when you talk about the industrial growth. It's a completely different ballgame to be in government. We are not you. We are not the people who are going to set up industry. We are not the people, we are facilitators of the system. We have to facilitate. If you look at China, when we talk about this, China in last good 10 years has moved 400 million people from the farm sector to the cities and the factories. When the Prime Minister talks about 500 million workforce today, it's a challenge indeed how you put these people to rightful work. And this cannot happen independently. This has to be a partnership with all of you who come together to make the nation. When you talk about the industrial growth stagnating at 2%, no country will survive, no industry will grow. And if the GDP grows remains stagnant at 4.5%, we have to take it to 8.5%. If all the things have to fall in place, how do we achieve that? When you talk about the World Bank report, which says India, as far as the ease of business, is 134. It's sad. Why should we be 134? But at the same time, when we look at cases where the Samsung director has to appear in Ghaziabad court for some exporters case which has been registered in Dubai, and the High Court and the Supreme Court, Honorable High Court and the Supreme Court says, no, you have to appear, then there is some problem. There is something which the system and the machine has to take care of. Well, when we talk about the principles of management, it's not just you. You may be 500 delegates here, and you will come and spend a day. You go back to your own organization. You have n number of issues to address. But when you talk about the nation, you talk about 150 million people, and that is all what we are responsible for. That is all why the Prime Minister has brought people like us to think how to go about it. When every year you have a workforce, about 7 million people who join the workforce, and we have to skill them, to train them. I really do not know, because if I am here as a skill development minister, it's a new ministry. And I have my ministry because, unfortunately, and I share it with people, that I am now the so-called skill development minister, on entrepreneurship and parliamentary affairs. And while I am sitting in the parliament, I find 22 ministries answering questions on skill development except the skill development minister. Because this is, and every person I bump into today, please don't take it otherwise. Every person I meet is right there, and whether it's a party, whether it's a railway platform, it's an airport, whether I'm waiting somewhere, I get so much knowledge of skill development. Every man talks about skill development, and I say the world knows about skill development except the minister. But you know why? Why do people talk to me? It's not that. Why do people talk to me? Because there is an eagerness in the society. Every industry needs skilled manpower. They don't have skilled manpower. And if I have to talk exclusively of skill development, I can tell you A, B, C, D, E. What does the industry want? What is happening across the world? Where we stand? Because there is an eagerness or a desire in every man associated with the industry to talk about skill development, because that they want to happen, which is actually not happening. And my hats off to the Prime Minister, because he has decided to make it. It's very difficult, I know. 22 ministries, 178 schemes, 7,000 to 8,000 crores being spent. We're not talking about a CSR, we're not talking about the states spending, we're talking about union government. And that is a challenge. Now, all these issues are there which actually, and when we talk about mega projects, when China decides to set up and fix up an underground bullet train from Beijing to Alaska, that is what needs to be studied. How do they plan to do it under the seas and the mountains? And so that is a logistic which needs to be addressed. How do they plan about these ambitious things? We did see the British Channel good 100 years, 60, 70, 80 years ago. So we have to see, but when you see come back, there are decisions which take place because the Supreme Court determines the previous government or any government may have faulted. We can't be looking back and saying. But when a decision of a court takes place and 55,000 megawatt of power which is to be done by the private sector comes to a standstill, and that is an exposure of 5.5 lakh to 6 lakh crores, that's a complete management failure. And how do you do it? With all the gas power projects not receiving the gas which Mr. Shroff can better tell us what is there. So everything requires a matrix of decision and which has to be done and accomplished. If we want to achieve that GDP, we want to, because this country is just not run for you. This country has to be run for 1,260 million people. इसलिए मित्रों आप सब यहाँ इस गोष्ठी में आए हैं जो मेरा विषय नहीं है, लेकिन क्योंकि जैन साहब ने मुझे विशेष तौर से ये कहा था कि आपने आना है, and I will not be specific to project management because actually the dimensions of project management and project mindset has to be better with the politicians than with the people who execute it. And the day we decide that we have to do it in a better way, and I think we are heading in that direction, and I can tell you the slew of policy decisions which will follow soon or which are in the process of being followed, possibly in the history of last 55 years or 60 years. Now the Indian Parliament, the number of legislations which we passed in the first 6 days almost 6 major legislations have been passed. So everything requires some initiative, some effort, and I'm sure today is a day where I have come to inaugurate education, but unfortunately I cannot dwell in many more issues. There are many issues connected to many more final subjects, and since I've already received a small slip from the speaker that she wants me there because one really doesn't know how the day starts in Parliament. I must thank all of you to be here, assembled here to discuss issues on mindset, on the key competitiveness. It's a great day for me. Thank you once again for inviting me, and I congratulate all of you to be here on this occasion. Thank you.
NBCC chairman was to get fellowship award. He will kindly come. Time is short. Because you have, there is a call now getting because of they want to do every second. Please, we'll give you a citation later, but this is where we like to get the award from the minister. He has done a great job. Mr. Mishra, can you also come? Because he is also engineering some awards for me. So I think I cannot talk about that.
Can I request the audience to please give a standing ovation to the minister and also to Sri Adesh Jain, who has given the entire life to Project Minister.
Once again, thank you very much, sir. We really enjoyed your visionary guidance on project management and project delivery. And thank you for coming with us, even though you had to go so soon for parliamentary affairs. What was given the fellowship awards to recognize those people who have given a lot of recognition for them for the work they have done in the field of project management, and it took stalwarts from India and abroad. And this year, 4 people have been selected by the committee that does the selection for this award, and it was given to Mr. Dr. Anup Kumar Mittal. He is chairman and MD, NBCC Limited. For 3 other people, because total of 4, was Dr. Ashutosh Karnataka, Director Projects